Cool thing, you don't need extra tools, just this. Okay, that is going to take some muscle. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do a little bit of maintenance on our new daily driver, and that is of course this 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee that we just picked up, 2,500 bucks. If you missed the videos of the reveal, go check them out. I'll link them above. But 100 and almost 49,000 miles on this guy. Pretty good shape. But I'm going to work off the assumption that none of the fluids in the driveline or any of that have been changed. And so that is what we're going to tackle today. So we're going to tackle the transfer case and also the front and rear diff. And then later on in a separate video, because it's a little bit more in depth, we're going to do the automatic transmission fluid. But we're going to try to keep this video for you guys as detailed as possible and show you the ins and outs. It's really honestly going to be easy, so we're going to breeze through it and not make it too complicated. So that way, if you guys are doing this in your garage like we're about to do, this should be easy. Just follow my steps and you'll be good to go. You have to go and you have to pick this up from your Dodge dealership, and you have to get a bottle of this right here. It's kind of expensive. It's about 15 bucks or so a quart, and you're gonna need about 2 of them. And yeah, it's just basically kind of proprietary, I guess. I can't really speak English, but you cannot just go to like Advance Auto or anything like that. You have to go to Dodge, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, here we go. So right there is my transfer case. And this is a pretty simple job. Given the mileage, this is probably about normal. The way it looks, the condition, everything. There's probably a little bit of a leak there and in front as well. So we probably at some point need to change out the seals, everything. But this tag right here is where you're gonna find all the information you need to know about what kind of transfer case you have and then what fluids to use and so on and so forth. Right there, you see these 2 drain plugs. That's what you gotta pay attention to. Now, but what's important though is you don't wanna just go ahead and pull this one out and start draining fluid, and make sure that you can turn this guy loose, because if it's rusted in there or if it's banged up and you drain this, you're going to be screwed, just like you've probably seen in other videos. People talk about that. So we want to be able to see if we can turn this guy out and then back in, make sure that everything is going to be fine, and then we will move forward and drain this. So you're going to need one of these guys. I believe it's a 10 mil. This is a 3/8. It's close enough. I don't have a 10 mil, but all right guys, we're off to a good start. I just want to stop it from dripping on me a little bit if I can help it. And then we're going to work on the bottom and make sure that this will come loose as well. Yep, that's pretty easy. So, very simple job working on a transfer case. Most important thing is just make sure that you can undo, make sure you can undo the top one first so you don't screw yourself in the long run. Make sure that you have the right fluid here. There we go. That's gross. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sit here and let this thing drain for quite a while. I'm going to let it just work its way out as much as possible. I don't see any flakes or anything metal coming out of this, so it looks all good to go. Now, if you're just buying a project vehicle, something like this, probably now, since you're under here, would be an excellent time to just do a little once-over, explore the vehicle a little bit, look for rust, anything like that you need to take care of, any other leaks, anything like that. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I already see a couple of things, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a concern. So nothing scary, no red flags yet, but we're gonna keep looking. So like I'm talking about, so this is a 15-year-old Jeep, and you can see down here, this is probably coming up through, if you can see there, around the axles. Not a good sign. So we gotta do a little bit of maintenance on this guy, but not too much. I don't wanna spend an arm and a leg on a $2,500 vehicle, but so long as it'll last maybe another 50,000 miles or at least another year or two, I think that it's gonna be money well spent. But I mean, this is yeah, that's sludge and just nasty stuff. So all right guys, it's pretty much dripped enough, so we're gonna clean this up just a little bit. I didn't see any metal or nothing coming out, which is good. It smells like a fart. That was totally me, guys. Just kidding. Oh yeah. Fluff it out there. Now, what you want to pay attention to is when it starts dripping. Just steadily dripping, that's when it's going to be full, and you want to cap it at that point. So it's starting to drip, but I think I spilled some anyway. Okay, so now it is seriously full. So we're gonna let that even out a little bit and then plug it up. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. Pretty simple job. Anybody can do this. I could have my 3-year-old come out here and do this. I don't have a 3-year-old. She's a little bit older than that, but just saying, it's pretty simple. And if I can do it, you can do it. All right, guys, so now we are on to the front differential under here. I don't even have to check this thing up. I should have enough room, but basic hand tools that you can see that we've got this guy here. So need one of these. This is cool because I think I got it at Lowe's as well too. I don't know, it's expandable. A 13mm. I have some 80/90 gear oil there. I think it was like $7 or $8 a bottle. I don't know. But I got 4 of these guys, and then I have a scraper. You're gonna need that, and then some of this stuff, this Permatex gasket maker there, because we're gonna have to, I'll show you in the video further when we get to that point how to actually do this, but that's important. You're gonna need to have that. Now, depending on what gears you have in your front and rear diff, will determine what weight you need, but you may have to actually add some additive. I talked to my dealership and they said that I don't. I believe I have 30 gears, Dana 30 in the front, and then I have a 44 in the rear, and it's not a locking rear, so we should be good to go, and this should be the only thing that we need. But basically give your dealership the VIN number, and then they can tell you whether you need additives or not. Now, just like we did with the transfer case, you see that guy right there? So what we want to do is make sure that we can break this free before we start tackling all these 13mm bolts all around. But basically, you just got to make sure that you can take this in and out just to be safe, and then you start loosening up all of this. To make sure you have a drain pan underneath to catch all the diff fluid coming out. I am not looking forward to this because diff fluid smells so bad, but I think it does need to be done. I imagine probably this has never been changed front and rear, and it's not that bad of a job. It's just kind of messy, but we're gonna get through it. Cool thing, you don't need extra tools, just this. Okay, that is going to take some muscle. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna have no problems there. All right, so I think we're safe. So you start undoing the bolts. I don't even have the vehicle jacked up. Let's see if we can get some of these. If I can get my fat butt under here. All right, there's one. You can see this stuff doesn't look too terrible coming out of there. So again, I don't know if this has been changed or not by the previous 2 owners, but I'm just assuming that it hasn't been. I want to be safe. Make sure that we can get some more mileage out of this. Yeah, there's a bunch of sludge. I can actually dig my finger, look at that. So yeah, this is, there's some metal flake in there, as you can see, and this is awful. So this is again why we are changing this, and then once we have this off, I'm going to clean it, make sure everything is good to go before we put fresh stuff in there, and try to make it as newish as possible. And then we can also inspect the gears once we have this cover off, make sure everything is good to go and copacetic. But all right, we're going to continue cracking these bolts and then let all of this fluid come out. You may have to get like a screwdriver or something in there to pry this away from the differential itself, and then just let all the fluid drain out, and then we're going to come back and just clean up and then make it new. Now what we want to do is just inspect everything. Since this is the first time that I'm looking at it, I'm very curious. Diff fluid, I don't see anything crazy here. We are going to have to remove some of this stuff. It'll probably peel up, but if it won't, that is what that scraper there is for. Getting to the top bolts when you're taking this thing loose is kind of a chore. Just stick with it, find a wrench that works for you. But anyway, so we're going to set that guy to the side, and then we're going to clean it thoroughly. But I want to see what the gears look like too. Turn my headlamp on. So probably tough to tell, but just looking at it right now, I don't see any broken teeth, at least from what I can tell. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see any red flags is what I'm trying to look for. I'm gonna get some brake cleaner and spray all this down so that it's clean as much as I can get it, and then we're going to put a gasket, new gasket on it with the Permatex there, and I'll show you how to do that the correct way, and then bolt everything back up and then fill it, and then we're going to move on to the rear. And the rear differential is going to be pretty much identical to this. There's a little bit, it's going to be a little bit tighter to work in that area, but this is essentially how you do it. All right, let's see if we can knock off some of this stuff. Brake cleaner. Give this a nice little soak. Yeah, I don't think that this job has ever been done before, because when I was thinking whenever I did the bolts, took them loose, all the crud that was on them, I mean, it doesn't look like anybody's ever done this job before. So, and there's almost 150,000 miles. All right, so we're gonna continue working on this, and I'm gonna spray down the inside of the diff itself to make sure that it's clean, wipe it away, give it some time to dry, and then we'll put it back together, put some fluid in it, and move on to the rear. So here it's coming together, getting pretty clean, still working on it, but now is the time that you also want to take like a scraping tool, razor blade, or whatever, start going on the edges and try to get some of this old gasket silicone stuff off of it. And then you're going to do the same thing on the inside of the differential, because it's going to have more, and that way we can apply a fresh new coat to the surface of this guy here. Okay, so the next step, I can't see, is pretty important. We got our Permatex, and then I'm basically going to go all around here, all these edges, and then I'm going to fill in, and then I'm going to come back and smooth it over with my fingers and try to make a nice even coat all the way around, if that makes any sense. Yeah, we're just going to follow along and then fill in the gaps there, and then yeah. Okay, basically this is kind of what I've done here. So trying to be a little bit liberal with it. Now, you don't have to go crazy, but you know, something like this, make sure they're nice and thick and even coats as much as you can. Spread it around with your finger. Now we're going to bolt it back up underneath. We're going to tighten it up, basically finger tight in crisscross fashion. I can't speak. I'm going to let it basically seal up for about an hour or so, and then I'm going to come back, and basically that's it. We just put fluid in at that point. So we're almost done with the video, guys. Hopefully you found it entertaining, enjoyable, informative. And if you like it, you know, definitely subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, we're almost done. So let's finish this up. So now we're going to basically fill this guy up until it starts to overflow like this, kind of like we did with the transfer case. And when it starts to spill out, that's it. So let's see how much this actually takes. If I can get this thing to go in there, I have to squirt it up in there like this. Oh yeah. There's one. All right, now you see how it's coming out like that? That means we are good to go. Just got to make sure everything is tight. Let this sit for a minute, you know, make sure this is dry, and we're going to come back in a little bit, check for leaks. Other than that, the front side of this is done. All right, guys, we are done. No leaks. Pretty easy. It just takes a couple hours if you're really moving and not filming and doing something like this. But the front's done. I've got to do the rear, and it's basically the same, so I don't need to film it. Only thing is you're going to be working with a little bit more of a tight area because you do have the gas tank right there. So you just have to get around that or lift the vehicle up, do whatever you want to do. That way you can have a little bit more room. But yeah, same procedure, everything. Just follow the exact same steps. You should have plenty of differential fluid left over. I bought 4 bottles. But other than that, I mean, really, it's pretty simple. So now I feel a little bit better about the Jeep because I know that the work is done and it's cool. But if you want to save some money, do it yourself, you can do this in your garage in an afternoon. So again, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe.